Hello there, Wastelanders. Welcome to the final episode of Season 1 of Fallout New Vegas Faction Warriors Tale of Two Wastelands Edition. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, Razador, what faction does Gary lead? What is this? Well, my friends, if you go to Vault 108 and you ask Gary who the leader of the vault is, he tells you. It's his favorite thing to say. Now, in case you're in danger of thinking this is going to be a silly run, well, let's pop up Gary's inventory. Now, every Gary has something a little different, so I decided that we get access to all of them, because they're all Gary. And you know, the longer you take a look at this list, the more you realize, hey, we actually have some decent stuff here. We got the 10mm, which means we're allowed to use the weather 10mm from the courier stash. Lead pipe is a deceptively useful melee weapon. The knife, well, we can kill the praying mantises in the school with that. And the scoped 44 Magnum, wow, killing old Ben later on is actually going to yield something beyond, well, being funny. And selling the 44 Magnum revolver, we actually get to keep the bullets for it this time. And now, of course, to offset our actually pretty decent assortment of weapons at our disposal, a vault jumpsuit, well, it's not known for being tanky exactly, so we are going to have to be careful. And now, if this is your first episode, first off, welcome. Love to see your beautiful face. And may I suggest starting from the beginning at the Chinese Remnant run? Of course, you're more than welcome to watch this episode. I'm not going to complain either way. But being that this is the final, you might want to hold off on this one until you watch the Chinese Remnant episode, or a couple more, and then come back here. The reason why I say that is because this is the final episode. We're going to have all the scores at the end. And just know that we're allowed to use the varmint rifle here because we have to bypass this part of the tutorial in order to get Joe Cobb to appear at the Prospector Saloon. And as we enter the Goodsprings school, making use of our trusty little knife, I'm sure Gary's gotten plenty of uses out of that. We're gonna go ahead and slice and dice these praying mantises inside. We don't want any of them to be alive, because if any are, we'll be in caution. When we go over to Joe Cobb, he's gonna run away from us. That's gonna be a bit of a time waster. We'll go ahead and bust open that safe, grab that sweet, sweet stealth boy, and then make our way on over to Joe Cobb. And since this is the first run where we have the lead pipe, you know what we gotta bludgeon Joe Cobb with. Now, here in Faction Warriors, we're not in character at all. But bludgeoning random Wastelanders is definitely something that Gary would do, so we have a nice little 2-for-1 in this episode. And as we make our way to Scorpion Gulch, turns out that the lead pipe is just as good at bludgeoning arachnids as it is human skulls. We do have to be a bit careful here because, again, since we're in melee, we have the chance to get poisoned by one of the bark scorpion hunters, and we do have anti-venom, but we only have one, and we might need that one here before long, sooner than you think. Now, if you are new here, just know that we go this way to get to Hidden Valley because we need the experience points for the Scorpions, and we also need their poison glands. They sell for about 18 bottle caps a pop. That's useful because it contributes to our 2,000 cap credit check that we need to pass in order to enter the strip. Alrighty, with Hidden Valley on our map, we can fast travel back to Goodsprings, go north of the cemetery, pass it, grab the snow globe so we can get an extra 2,000 caps from Jane before we bludgeon House to death. We'll go ahead and open up our Pit-Boy, repair a couple of things so we can sell it for the maximum amount of value possible, and then we'll go ahead and pop that awesome Stealth Boy. We need one of these to go through Cazador Pass here. It's going to be the last time we go through here in Faction Warriors for a little while, and what a note to end off on as far as Cazador Pass goes. It's uneventful because, well, we do get spotted. We are hugging the top of the mountain here, so they can't get to us. We do not alert the raiders at Bonnie Springs. That happened to us in the Enclave Hellfire Trooper video, something I didn't think could actually happen with this routing, but hey, you learn something new every time you play, right? All said and done with that, we're going to make our way to Red Rock Canyon. We'll go ahead and break into Carl's Footlocker, see if there's anything. A couple things there. The purified water's nice, too. We can talk to Papa Khan, get that part of the Yes Men criteria checked off, and then we're going to head north to have our final, for now, showdown with Cook Cook. Now, as we make our way to Cook Cook, just a little heads up for what to expect in the future. I do have some challenge runs on the backlog, Tale of Two Wastelands, of course. But for a time, I do want to go back to Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas individually. And this is where Season 2 of Faction Warriors comes in. I'm going to let you guys decide. Season 2 of Faction Warriors, where are we going? Are we staying here in the Mojave Wasteland, or are we going to go east to DC and try running some Fallout 3 units through the capital Wasteland? I'll make a poll for it in the community section, and I'll bring it up routinely just to remind you guys to vote in case you're interested. I'll tell you this straight away, Fallout 3's routing and our special allocation are going to be very different. but it's going to stay the course in the regard that we're not going to be in character for anything that we're playing as. That's okay though, because I have plenty of challenges coming up where we actually are going to be in character, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And back to the run real quick, gotta say, this is quite the shootout we have with Cook. Real nice note to end this section off on. Like, just short of the missile launcher and the Fat Man, we could not have handpicked a weapon that's more dangerous for us to go up against. I mean, vault suits, again, not great armor. We might as well be wearing tissue paper. And as this is going on, something pretty funny happens. I don't know if Cook bugged out or he just got tired of fighting or what, because, he kind of stops fighting us. I don't know why. I'm absolutely going to take that. But, you know, it wouldn't feel right taking out Cook with a 10mm pistol. I mean, we have to honor his sacrifice in a more fun way. And hey, what better way to do that than to switch on over to the lead pipe, go over to Cook, see, he's not attacking us, and go into VATS mode and just club him once he's down for the count. It kind of looks like we kicked him instead. Now, one of the greatest benefits to what's available to us weapons and apparel-wise is that everything we're carrying is super light, so we're not going to have any trouble carrying what the Fiends have to offer us here. Well, there goes Eldorado Substation. No obligatory mention this time because I talk too much. Gonna raid that sweet field shack one last time. Nothing of interest in here. Really would have loved to have found another stealth boy. That would have been a perfect note to end off on. Now, another great note to end off on is taking out our boy George boy here. And it's the first time in this run we're going to bust out the scoped Magnum. Don't even need VATS. We can just look through the scope, pop his skull, get his 427 bottle caps, and be on our way to Nellis. Shout out to Georgia boy, we'll see him next season. Now, circling back to an earlier topic, if you're enjoying Faction Warriors, don't worry, I do have a second full season of Tale of Two Wastelands planned out. We're going to do that a little later down the road, and that's going to feature Mojave Wasteland units like the NCR Trooper going through the Capital Wasteland. I think that's going to be a ton of fun. And I found out something very interesting while I was going through my Caesar's Legion Let's Play. Yeah, apparently the Lion's Pride armor counts as faction armor, so does that mean they're gonna shoot the NCR Trooper on sight? Well, I can't say I blame them for taking precautions, you know, you just gotta be sure, right? And sadly, we are denied Granny's lockers, but that's okay. Retracing our steps back to Freeside, one more time gonna do some business with our boy Dixon here. After we buy some good stuff off of him, sadly, no 44 scoped Magnum for him. After looting Dixon and making our way over to the Strip, turns out there's only one Freeside thug this time around, and I kind of prefer that. And in stark contrast to my performance in the casted run, we absolutely crushed this guy with the lead pipe. Wasn't expecting to kill him that fast. Before entering the Strip, we're gonna get some 44 rounds. We're not gonna buy them. We're just gonna hit Old Ben so hard with our lead pipe that we sever his arm. Oh, that was interesting. He always seems to have a random amount on him. This time around, he has 13. That's perfect. All said and done, time to check off more of our little list. Going to our boy Mortimer here. It's a really good thing that he speaks Garyese. Garyese? Garish? I'll let you guys pick the Gary language. Next up is Benny, and after a minor flub of equipping the wrong Magnum, we'll zoom in with the correct one, Dome Shot the Ben Man. Go through his stuff, talk to Yes Man, go through the dialogue, speed through it, all that good stuff. Well, let's hope that our final Vulpes kill for a while is gonna be awesome. Gotta say, mighty brave of Vulpes to just approach Gary and assume everything's gonna be okay. Like, does he not know what Vault 108 is? Everybody knows what Vault 108 is. And I probably shouldn't have gone into VATS there because I was kinda concerned that we missed that first shot, but we didn't, so it all worked out. Yay! We'll check in with the receptionist at the Omertas and make our way on over to Mr. House. Now, check this out. This is awesomeness worthy of Gary Steele, right? So we aggro Mr. House and the Securitrons, and unless my eyes deceive me, we didn't take any damage from that run. If we're quick enough, we can turn left, activate the door. Yeah, it doesn't look like we got hit there either. Sweet. Now, we haven't used the knife since Goodsprings School, so we're gonna bust that out and then chop Mr. House down to size. And once again, Ranger Dobson is in the bunker. Every time this has happened, this has been a great sign for our time. I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, Gary might beat Vance's time. Time to head on back to Eldorado Substation for Yes Man, and something pretty funny happens. As we fast travel there, we're gonna go ahead and open up our Pit-Boy Papa Med-X, because I'm like, well, they've been firing at us for the past few episodes. It doesn't hurt to give Gary a little bit of extra protection, right? So we take the medics for some damage reduction, head inside, walk over, and the NCR troopers aren't even acknowledging our presence. I like to think that they know better. Alright, baby, it's Gary versus Hoover Dam. Let's do this. And gotta say, since my game kinda glitched out and I can't get Day Tripper, it's actually been more positive than negative because we haven't had to waste the time popping the chems and alcohol to get that perk. Now, with the Great Khans disposed of and the Kenturians incoming, we're gonna switch to the 44 Magnum, the scoped, of course. And I'm not gonna take any chances here, popping that steady, gonna zoom in. Courtesy of Vats, we two-shot that one. Alright, round 2 for Vats, and this just might be the greatest Vats kill we've gotten all season. There's two things that keep me doing Faction Warriors. First off is that each run is always a little different, so it always stays interesting to me. And number 2 are the hilarious Vats kills, although I think the latter is more universal to any Fallout challenge. I feel like the Vats kills are the perfect recreation of the over-the-top gory kills from Fallout 1, 2, and Tactics. I gotta say, as far as awesome kills are concerned here in Faction Warriors, Gary is the one who's really bringing home the bacon. And gotta do an honorable mention to Roy Phillips. Although it wasn't a kill on Old Ben himself, the fact that Roy managed to shoot his Magnum 20 yards down the alley was just hilarious to me. And coming up is another headshot that takes the Kenturian's head clean off his shoulders. What, does Gary have like a ranged Vorpal weapon or something? And you know who's coming up next. As fun as it would be to kill them with a knife, again, gotta use the lead pipe this time. We've already gotten some envenomed knife kills. Gotta do the same thing with the lead pipe. Now, I mean, the heavy troopers have to kill us this time, right? Because all we have is a vault jumpsuit. Alrighty, the first one has been poisoned. Gotta open up the pit boy and reapply our bleak venom. And like, just observe. You gotta see this. You just take it all in. Now, if this was a Brotherhood of Steel Paladin, we'd be toast. But this is NCR Edition heavy armor, so rest assured that their quality is consistently and hilariously disappointing. And since this is the final episode of Season 1, you know we gotta leave in our little journey on over to the power plant control box, or as I like to call it, the self-destruct button, or one of my personal favorite references, the little red button. Kid, don't ever touch the little red button. And I must admit, bludgeoning and crushing the NCR troopers and rangers is pretty on brand for Gary. And to those of you who voted on the poll, which you can still do by the way, don't worry, this is not the Gary run I was talking about. I am going to do a full-fledged challenge run as Gary. Well, that is unless Dave or Vance somehow pass him in votes. And while you can still vote, so far that's not looking like it's gonna happen. I mean, I don't care which one I run as because they'd all be fun. If you haven't voted yet and you want to, there's still time. Just go to my community tab, scroll down, you'll see the poll. There are 3 choices to pick from. And whoever wins, I will run them in hardcore mode for added challenge. And after we dome shot one of the Kenturians, gonna leave the Securitrons to clean up. And I was going to help the 2 here, but they cleaned house. Like, why couldn't they do this every episode? That'd be awesome. But we can't let them have all the fun. We'll do things the Gary way and make our way to the Legates camp. Well, if nothing else in this episode, we can say with absolute certainty that the Securitrons were at peak performance this time around. Maybe they're as motivated as Gary is. Well, if he's the one controlling them, that makes total sense, actually. Oh, yeah, now we're in caution when we kill the Praetorian Guard. And I spoke too soon. Man, Kaisar really did not send his best Praetorians to this particular run. Alright then, with the way clear, we can go ahead and make our way on up the hill like usual. Pop that Meeting People magazine to boost our speech to 100, drop a save, all that good stuff. Once we're done, we'll talk to Legate Lanius, and I like to think that just the sheer visage of Gary struck fear into the heart of Lanius, and that's why he ran away and was willing to retreat. A most wise decision on the Legate's behalf. And that's the run, and all of Season 1. I mean, yeah, there's still General Oliver, but we already have our speech at 100 with Meeting People, so we're gonna bypass the encounter with him. Now, how did Gary perform here in Faction Warriors? I gotta say, pretty good. Pretty much beat for beat with Roy Phillips. So we've got 2 winners here. We have Vance, who won out of the faction leaders, and the Regulator wins as far as the standard grunt units go. Now, it says Season 2 on my end cap here, but I mean Season 2 of Tale of Two Wastelands. Which, again, means the example units on screen like the NCR Trooper and the Legionary going through the capital Wasteland. As far as actual Season 2 is concerned, you guys are deciding where we go next. I hope you had as much fun as I did here in Faction Warriors, and I will see you at the next video. Take care.